Hi, I'm Mr. Bressler, and I teach AP Economics. And I just wanted to talk to you for a couple of minutes about why maybe you should sign up for AP Economics next year. It's fun, it's exciting, we learn a lot, and I'm going to give you an example. So, say currently now, prices for gas are $2.75 a gallon. How about if President Biden got on the air tomorrow and said, price for gas is $1 a gallon? How many of you would be happy? Raise your hand. See a lot of hands going up. Yeah, because at $1 a gallon, gas would be cheaper for us, and most Americans would feel great about it. But that's what's great about economics. We're going to look at what would actually happen. So if you look at this graph at 275 a gallon, you notice we're selling 100 gallons of gas. Okay. Now, at $1 a gallon, all of a sudden, people at $1 a gallon, I don't have to carpool. Maybe somewhere where I walked or I biked, I'm going to drive everywhere. I mean, it's $1 a gallon. So now people are going to want 200 gallons of gas. How about the people who are selling it? They're not making a lot of money. Some of them can't afford to sell it for $1 a gallon and might even just stop selling gas. So while people want 200 gallons, we're only supplying 50. So what is that going to look like in the real world? Yes, great. Okay, your hand's up. Yeah, you're right. In the real world, what it's going to look like is you're going to go into your gas station and they might not have gas. What else might happen? Okay, that's another great answer. You might go into the gas station and there might be a long line, waiting for gas because like there's only a few gas stations. So there'll be long lines. So you're going to have gas stations that don't have lines, that don't have gas. You're going to have gas stations with long lines. And I lived through this. And let me tell you what they did in New York. So in New York, a lot of times during this gas shortage, you'd wake up and you go down and you'd have a full tank, but kids would siphon the gas out of your tank. Okay. And then they'd be there to sell it back to you because they knew you didn't have it. So all these things happen. And by the way, what happened due to the gas shortage in the 70s is we, had tanks that locked and everything to prevent that. But all these things happen. So you'd have gas siphoning or black market selling gas. You'd have shortages. You'd have gas stations that didn't have gas. You'd have long lines. All of these are the problems that we talk about based on decisions that seem to be good at the start, may be made with best intentions by both Republicans and Democrats, but then we get to analyze the repercussions of these decisions. Okay, any questions? Homework, great question. Usually we're reading on the average of 4 to 6 pages a night. Okay, 4 to 6 pages a night and taking notes. That's the only homework assignments I give. Yes, you're right. I do give quizzes. All quizzes are announced before any assessment. I always give you a practice assessment. So say there's a 12-question quiz, I'll always give you 12 practice questions that are similar and would have a similar graph like this on it that you would then know would be on your quiz. Yes, you are right. That's a great question. I do allow students to retake quizzes. So no matter, say if you get a 4 out of 12 on the quiz and then you retake it and you get a 10, you get a 10 in the grade book. Say you get 10 out of 12 and you retake it and you get a 9, you get a 10 in the grade book. So the highest of the two quizzes are always what you get in the grade book. And you could always retake any quiz. Yes, we have unit tests. We probably have about 10 unit tests a year, 30 multiple choice, and 1 free response. The writing is a lot less than like the writing in US history or the writing in English. I would say it's more interpreting graphs and maybe a sentence or two like per answer at the most for your free response. How do kids do in the class? I would say the history of my class is the pass rate's been between 93 to 96%. On most years, we do micro and macro. This year, we only did macro because of the, Wednesday so often, we met like 27 less days this year. But we'll do micro and macro, so that's 6 college credits for you. All right. I appreciate the time here. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or stop in at the social studies office. I'd be glad to answer any questions. All right, just give me one quick minute. Let me flip off my AP Econ hat and go into my positive psychology class. I'm offering a half credit in positive psychology. So quickly, anyone here feel any anxiety, stress, or sometimes sad or depression? If you have any of those 3, raise your hand. That's probably 80%. I mean, who isn't stressed out? Okay, with COVID and with things going on now, I have decided to offer a positive psychology class. So what we'll teach strategies on how to handle stress. We'll talk about there's certain times that stress is really good for you. We'll teach strategies on how to reframe your mind so you're thinking the positive and not the negative. Okay, we'll talk about how to develop passion, how to cultivate passion in oneself, how to be more resilient. All right, all these things in a half credit course. Okay, here, this half credit, no testing. Did you hear that? No testing, no quizzes, no tests. Okay, the assignments or grades will be usually based on like a couple of paragraph reflections on things we learned. And usually the things we learned, we're going to go at it. So we'll talk about gratitude and writing 3 good things. So your reflection might be, things you were grateful for this week. We are going to just be applying our knowledge in reflection papers. Okay, last thing, on both these courses, students will have a chance to give feedback. I allow you to rate the class every day, to give me suggestions on what would make the class better. And again, to ask any questions that you might have. So I'll finish off again by saying thank you, Mr. Mark Steiner, for allowing me to come into your class. I really look forward to teaching you in both, really, AP Econ and positive psychology. Positive psychology, only a half credit course. That'd be a great grade booster. But hopefully you could take them both, and I'll see you next year. Thank you.